The battlefield of blood and stars. The air was heavy with smoke, fire, and the strange, sharp smell of alien blood. Metal screamed under pressure as ships exploded in the distance. The sky above the shattered planet was no longer blue. It was a storm of burning clouds and broken machines. Commander Rafe moved quickly across the battlefield. He was not a soldier with a gun. He was a medic, a human battle medic. His job was to save lives, not take them. And right now he was doing just that. He stepped over bodies, some human, some alien. His scanner beeped, showing a weak life sign nearby. He followed the signal to the ruins of a fallen tower. Something was trapped under the broken stones. A small arm, thin, gray-skinned, barely moving. A child, Rafe whispered. He dropped to his knees and pushed the stones away carefully. Bit by bit, he uncovered a small alien girl. Her body was twisted and crushed. She wasn't moving. But her eyes were open, big, glowing, and full of fear. She belonged to the Valari, a tall, strong alien race. The Valari were known across the galaxy for being proud and powerful. They did not accept help from others. They never showed weakness, and yet, here was one of their own, small, silent, and broken. "Hang on," Rafe said gently. "I've got you." He took out his portable med kit and started working. Her spine was damaged. She couldn't move her legs. Her breathing was shallow. He gave her oxygen, pain blockers, and nanites to slow the bleeding. He didn't know if she understood him, but he kept talking anyway. "You're going to make it. I promise." Suddenly, his radio crackled. "Commander Rafe. Evac. Ship leaving in 3 minutes. Get out now." But Rafe didn't move. He looked at the girl's face. She didn't blink. She didn't cry. But her eyes stayed locked on his. She was still fighting. And so was he. "I'm not leaving her," he replied. He grabbed a stretcher, placed her gently on it, and pulled it with all his strength toward the emergency zone. Explosions lit up the sky behind him, but he didn't stop. Dust and fire rained down. One wrong step and they both would be dead. Finally, he reached a safe area. The med pod hissed open and he slid her inside. "Vitals stabilizing," the machine said in a calm voice. He let out a breath of relief. "You're safe now." Then, everything went silent. The ground trembled. A shadow fell over Rafe. He turned slowly. A giant alien stood there. Tall, armored, eyes glowing red. His skin was the same color as the girl's. His chest was marked with golden tattoos, symbols of rank, war, and blood. This was no ordinary alien. This was a Valari war leader. Rafe raised his hands. "I'm not your enemy. I saved her." The war leader said nothing at first. He stepped closer, each step shaking, the ground. His eyes scanned the girl in the med pod. Her small hand twitched. For a moment, Rafe thought the alien would kill him. But instead, the warrior did something strange. He knelt beside the pod. Slowly, he touched the glass where her face was. His hand was big and scarred. His face, usually cold and hard like all Valari, now looked soft, sad, like a father looking at his child one last time. She was not supposed to live. The alien finally said. His voice was deep and slow. "But you made her live." Rafe didn't understand. "She was injured. I couldn't leave her behind." The war leader stood up again. He looked down at Rafe with eyes full of ancient weight and something else. Something heavy. Without another word, he reached into his armor and pulled out a small metal object. It looked like a key. He dropped it in Rafe's hand. "You are her guardian now," the alien said. "What?" Rafe asked, confused. "What do you mean?" "She is yours." And with that, the alien turned and walked away into the smoke. Rafe stared after him, stunned. He looked down at the girl inside the pod. She was still looking at him. Her lips moved, but no sound came. A gift no human wanted. The medbay was quiet, except for the soft hum of machines. The small alien girl lay on the bed, still and pale. Her eyes, however, were open and watching. Commander Rafe sat beside her, staring at the strange key the Valari war leader had given him. Why would a powerful alien father give his daughter away like this? Rafe's mind raced. The Valari were proud. They never surrendered or showed weakness. Yet here, one of their greatest warriors had handed over his daughter, for free, to a human medic. The girl's breathing was steady now. Rafe gently reached out and took her hand. It was cold but firm. He whispered, "I'm here. You're safe." Hours passed, and still, she said nothing. Rafe's thoughts were interrupted by a knock on the medbay door. It opened slowly. A tall man in a dark uniform stepped in. His eyes were sharp and curious. "Commander Rafe," the man said in a low voice. "The Council wants to know why you brought a Valari child to Earth." Rafe sighed. "She's injured. I saved her life. That's all." The man shook his head. "This could cause a political disaster. The Valari don't trust us. Giving her away is unusual. Suspicious." Rafe frowned. "What do you mean?" The officer's eyes darkened. "Rumors say the Valari have secrets hidden in their bloodlines. This child may be more than she seems. We need to know exactly what we're dealing with." Rafe looked at the girl. She didn't look dangerous, just small and broken. But something about the way she stared at him felt strange. Suddenly the girl's fingers twitched. She traced a strange shape in the air. It glowed faintly. A series of symbols unlike anything Rafe had seen before. "What is that?" Rafe asked quietly. The officer's eyes widened. "That is Valari script. It's old, powerful. Only those with royal blood can use it." Rafe swallowed hard. "You mean she's important?" "More than that. She might be the last of her kind." Rafe's heart pounded. He thought about the war leader's gift, the weight behind it. Later that night, as the base slept, Rafe checked on the girl again. Her eyes opened slowly, and she whispered, barely audible, "Rafe." He jumped. She knew his name. "Who told you my name?" he asked, voice low. She looked confused. "I don't know. It is inside me." Rafe's blood ran cold. There was something inside her, something not human, not natural. Suddenly, the lights flickered. The medbay's walls hummed with power. Rafe felt a chill crawl down his spine. He looked at the girl whose eyes now glowed with an eerie blue light. "Help me," she whispered. Before he could react, the door hissed open. 2 soldiers rushed in, weapons drawn. "Commander, we've lost contact with the other Valari ships. They're heading this way," the lead soldier said. "We need to evacuate. Now." Rafe glanced at the glowing girl. She was no longer the broken child he had found. Something inside her was waking. The soldiers ordered him again. "Leave the girl behind. She's a risk." Rafe shook his head fiercely. "No, she is under my protection." As the soldiers argued, the girl suddenly sat up on the bed. Her movements were smooth and strong, not weak or broken. "I am not a risk," she said, her voice clear but strange. Rafe stared, stunned. One soldier took a step back. "Commander, this is not just a child. We don't know what she can do." Outside, the base's alarms blared. The Valari ships were closing in fast. Rafe knew one thing. This girl was the key to something far bigger than he had imagined. Something dangerous. And the Valari Empire wanted her back, by any means necessary. The question was, what would happen if they caught her? Shadows of the past and threats of the future. The night was restless. The base was on high alert. Outside, the stars seemed colder, harsher, as if the galaxy itself knew a storm was coming. Commander Rafe sat beside the small Valari girl. She had named herself Lyra when she found her voice. That single word echoed softly in his mind. Lyra. She was no longer just a fragile child. The glowing symbols on her skin pulsed faintly in the dim light, like a heartbeat from another world. Her eyes, now bright and alive, stared into his with a mix of fear and trust. But trust was fragile. Rafe felt it slipping every moment, like sand through his fingers. The Valari ships were closing in. Their message had been clear and chilling. Return the child, or suffer the consequences. Rafe stood and looked out the window. A fleet of dark shapes moved silently through space, like predators hunting their prey. He wasn't sure if the Valari ships came to rescue their daughter, or to take her by force. Suddenly the door hissed open again. The officer from before entered, but this time his face was different. His eyes were cold, filled with doubt. "We can't hold them off," he said. "The Valari have weapons beyond anything we've seen. And that child, she is more powerful than you think." Rafe clenched his fists. "She's just a child. I won't let you hurt her." The officer shook his head. "It's not about hurting her. It's about control. The Valari want their bloodline back. She carries their legacy." Rafe turned back to Lyra. She was watching him, eyes wide. Slowly, she reached out and touched his hand. "I am afraid," she said softly, "but you are my shield." Her voice was like a whisper of the wind, gentle but strong. Rafe's heart ached. He realized this was more than a mission now. It was a promise. Suddenly the room darkened. The lights flickered, and a low rumble shook the base. Alarm screamed. Soldiers rushed in, shouting orders. "Valari ships are entering the atmosphere," a voice cried. "Prepare for attack." Rafe grabbed a weapon. It was not his usual role, but there was no choice. He looked at Lyra, who stood now, glowing with blue energy. "Stay close," he ordered. The battle outside was fierce. Explosions rocked the base. The Valari warriors landed, their armor shining like stars fallen from the sky. One by one they stormed the hallways, searching for their lost princess. Rafe and Lyra hid in a narrow corridor. The glowing symbols on her skin flared brighter. "Why do they want me so badly?" she whispered. "Because," Rafe said slowly, "you are more than just their daughter. You are the key to their future, and their past." The Valari war leaders. Words came back to him. "She is yours now." But what did that mean? Why would a proud warrior give away his bloodline? Rafe had no answers, only questions. Suddenly, a blast shattered the wall behind them. Dust filled the air. They ran. Lyra's energy pulsed wildly. She grabbed Rafe's hand and suddenly, a bright portal opened before them. "Where does this lead?" Rafe asked. "To safety," she said. "But it is only the beginning." They stepped through. The world twisted around them, colors flashing and lights swirling. When they landed, they were somewhere else. Quiet, dark, and unknown. Rafe looked around. "Where are we?" Lyra knelt and touched the ground. "This place is called the Hollow. It is hidden from the Valari and from humans alike." Rafe's eyes widened. "A secret refuge?" She nodded. "Here, I can learn who I am. Here, I can grow strong." But even in this hidden place, danger lurked. Rafe felt it deep inside, a shadow following them, waiting for the right moment to strike. He looked at Lyra and made a silent promise. "No matter what happens, I will protect her." Because the galaxy had just begun to reveal its darkest secrets. Secrets in the Hollow. The Hollow was unlike anything Commander Rafe had ever seen. It was a vast underground cave, glowing faintly with strange crystals embedded in the walls. The air smelled cool and clean, a sharp contrast to the burning metal and blood-soaked battlefields he had left behind. Lyra led the way, her small hand holding his tightly. The glowing symbols on her skin dimmed as they moved deeper inside, but Rafe could still feel the power beneath her calm exterior. "This place is safe. For now," she said quietly. "But danger waits outside." Rafe's mind raced. The Valari war leader had sent his daughter away for a reason. But why? What secret was buried here deep in the Hollow that could change everything? As they walked, Rafe asked, "Lyra, why did your father give you to me? Why did he say, 'She is yours now'?" Lyra hesitated, Her eyes darkened with sorrow. My father, he is proud but cruel. He believes I am weak because of my body. She motioned to her paralyzed legs. But there is more inside me than he knows. Powers he fears. Rafe frowned. What kind of powers? She looked at him with hope. The Valari bloodline holds a secret. The ability to control the stars, themselves. I can heal wounds, bend light, even see the future, but I have not learned how to use these gifts yet. Rafe's heart pounded. If the Valari warriors knew what Lyra could do, no wonder they wanted her back, and no wonder her father had sent her away. Suddenly a cold wind blew through the hollow. The crystals flickered. Rafe's hand tightened around his weapon. Someone is here, he said sharply. From the shadows, a figure stepped forward. It was a Valari woman, tall and fierce, her eyes glowing with the same blue light as Lyra's. You should not have come here, human, she said, voice like ice. Rafe stood tall. I'm protecting her. She is under my care now. The woman's gaze fell on Lyra. You think you can hide her? The Valari will find her. And when they do, they will take her back. Lyra stepped forward, her hands glowing. I will not go back. The Valari woman smiled cruelly. Then you will die. Before anyone could move, the ground shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. The hollow trembled as if the earth itself was angry. Rafe grabbed Lyra and pulled her to cover. The Valari woman shouted, The hollow will be your grave. But Lyra's eyes shone brighter. She raised her hands and a wave of light burst from her fingertips. The crystals around them exploded in a dazzling display. The Valari woman staggered back, shielding her face. Rafe looked at Lyra with awe. You did that? She nodded, breathless. I'm only beginning. Suddenly a voice echoed through the hollow. It was deep and powerful, filled with anger. You hide a thief and a traitor. Rafe and Lyra froze. From the darkness a massive figure appeared, the Valari war leader himself, towering and armored, eyes burning with fury. You took what belongs to me, he growled, and now you will pay. Rafe stepped in front of Lyra. She is under my protection. I will not let you take her. The war leader laughed, a sound like thunder. Then prepare for war, human, because this battle will decide the fate of the stars. The hollow grew darker. The air thickened with tension. Rafe knew this was only the beginning. The fight for Lyra, and for the future of two worlds, had just begun. The price of protection. The air in the hollow was heavy with tension. Commander Rafe's heart pounded as he faced the towering Valari war leader. The man's eyes burned like twin suns, full of fury and command. You cannot keep her, the war leader growled. She is the future of our people. I will take her back, alive or dead. Rafe tightened his grip on his weapon, though he knew this would not be a battle of guns alone. The Valari's power was unlike anything he had faced before. His mind raced, searching for a plan. Lyra stood beside him, glowing faintly. Despite her paralysis, there was a fire in her eyes now, a fierce will that gave Rafe hope. Suddenly, the war leader moved fast, faster than Rafe expected. With a wave of his hand, a burst of energy shot toward them. Rafe barely dodged as the blast slammed into the wall behind. Run! Rafe shouted to Lyra. But she stood her ground, her glowing hands rising. She let out a low hum and a shield of blue light formed around them. The war leader snarled and charged, but his attacks met the invisible wall. Sparks flew as energy collided. Rafe felt a strange pull in his chest, a mix of fear and hope. This fight was about more than just power. It was about trust, about two worlds trying to protect a fragile future. Suddenly the hollow shook violently. Crystals fell, and dust filled the air. Get to the escape tunnel, Rafe yelled. He grabbed Lyra's hand. They ran through twisting caverns, the war leader's roars echoing behind them. The escape tunnel was narrow and dark, but it led somewhere safe, or so they hoped. As they emerged into a small clearing, Rafe stopped and looked around. The hollow. was vast, filled with secrets. Lyra leaned on him, exhausted but determined. "We can't run forever," she said. "I must learn to control my power, or they will never stop hunting me." Rafe nodded. "Then we find someone who can teach. You, someone who understands the Valari blood." Before they could move, a shadow flickered at the edge of the clearing. A figure stepped forward, an old woman with silver hair and sharp eyes. "I've been waiting for you," she said softly. Rafe's hand went to his weapon. "Who are you?" The woman smiled. "I am Mara, the last keeper of Valari secrets. If Lyra is to survive, she must train with me." Lyra looked at Mara, hope shining in her eyes. "Will you teach me?" Mara nodded. "Yes, but it will not be easy. The path you walk is dangerous. Many want to use your power or destroy it." Rafe looked at Lyra. "Are you ready for that?" She nodded, fierce and brave. "Then we begin at dawn," Mara said. "But beware, the Valari war leader will not stop. He will come for you again." That night, as Rafe kept watch, he felt a chill. The war was far from over. A whisper drifted through the hollow, a promise of battles to come and sacrifices to make. Rafe tightened, his grip on his weapon once more, because protecting Lyra would cost him everything. The awakening storm. The first light of dawn barely touched the edges of the hollow when Lyra awoke. The air was thick with silence, but the weight of what lay ahead pressed on her chest like a stone. Mara stood waiting outside the small cave where they had slept. Her sharp eyes scanned the dim light, reflecting the hardness of decades of secrets and pain. "Come," Mara said quietly. "Today you begin to unlock the power buried inside you. But beware. The deeper you go, the more it will demand from you." Rafe joined them, still cautious but ready to stand by Lyra. His mind was filled with questions, but he stayed silent. He knew this was her journey, and his job was to protect her. The training began with ancient Valari rituals. Mara guided Lyra through meditation, calling upon the energy of the stars that pulsed far above in the sky. At first, Lyra struggled. Her body was weak, and her mind was clouded with fear. But slowly, a soft light began to glow beneath her skin, the symbols flickering like embers in a dying fire. Suddenly, the ground beneath them trembled. Rafe's hand instinctively went to his weapon, eyes darting toward the cavern entrance. "Valari scouts," Mara whispered, her voice tense. "They have found us." The peaceful moment shattered like glass. Rafe pulled Lyra to her feet. "We have to move, now." Outside, the dark shapes of Valari soldiers slipped through the shadows. Their armor gleamed like black stars, silent but deadly. The war leader was not far behind. As they fled deeper into the hollow, Lyra's power surged unexpectedly. A bright burst of light exploded from her hands, stopping the scouts in their tracks. But with each burst, her strength drained and her body trembled. "We must find the heart of the hollow," Mara said urgently. "It is the source of our power, and only there can Lyra truly awaken." The journey was perilous. Narrow paths twisted over deep chasms, and strange creatures watched from the darkness. Rafe carried Lyra when her legs failed. She whispered words of encouragement, their bond growing stronger with every step. But danger was never far. Suddenly, the war leader appeared on a ledge above them, his voice booming. "You cannot hide forever. The stars belong to me, and to my bloodline." Lyra stepped forward, her eyes blazing. "Not anymore." She raised her hands, calling on the power within her. The cave lit up with blue fire, and the very stones seemed to hum with energy. The war leader growled and launched a deadly blast. Rafe jumped between them, taking the full force. Pain seared through his arm, but he did not fall. Lyra screamed and unleashed a wave of light so strong it shook the hollow. When the dust settled, the war leader was gone, but not defeated. Mara looked at Lyra with pride and fear. "You have power beyond your years, but with it comes great responsibility." Rafe, panting, smiled weakly. "We're just getting started." Outside, the stars shone cold and distant, watching silently as a new battle for the galaxy's future began. The final choice. The hollow was silent now, but the storm that had been brewing inside Lyra and Rafe was far from over. The stars above watched cold and distant as the final battle approached. Lyra stood tall despite her tired body. Her hands still glowed faintly, and the symbols on her skin burned brighter than ever. She was no longer just a paralyzed girl. She was a weapon of light and hope, but with great power came a terrible price. Mara's voice echoed in her mind. The power inside you can save worlds, or destroy them. Rafe's eyes met hers, full of trust and determination. We fight, together. From the shadows emerged the Valari war leader. His armor cracked, his face a mask of rage and pain. You defy your blood. You will fall. The battle began with a clash of light and darkness. Lyra summoned beams of starfire, weaving between the war leader's deadly strikes. Rafe fired with precision, protecting her from harm. But the war leader was stronger than they imagined. With a roar, he unleashed a wave of energy that knocked Rafe to the ground. Lyra's heart broke watching him fall. Anger and fear boiled inside her. She reached deep into her power, calling upon every ounce of energy within. The cave trembled, crystals shattered. The very stars seemed to pulse with her strength. Stop! Lyra's voice rang out, loud and clear. This war ends now. For a moment everything froze. The war leader looked into her eyes and saw not fear but hope. You could have been my daughter, he said quietly. But you chose your own path. Lyra lowered her hands, the light fading. I choose peace, she said. For both our peoples. The war leader nodded slowly. Then I will not fight you. Rafe stood, helping Lyra steady herself. The war leader turned away, disappearing into the shadows. The hollow was calm once more, but the cost was clear. Lyra's power had drained her completely. She collapsed into Rafe's arms, exhausted, but alive. Rafe looked at her with new respect. You saved us all. Lyra smiled weakly. We saved each other. As dawn broke over the hollow, a fragile peace settled between the Valari and humans. Commander Rafe knew the future would be hard, filled with challenges and unknown dangers. But for now, they had won the most important battle. Hope, and that was worth fighting for, the end.